What's going on, guys? It's Ashton with N2Q Consulting. If you're watching this, it's because you want to learn a little bit more about web design. So I did us a favor and I brought in our web designer. She's an absolute beast here in N2Q. And so I wanted to pick her brain, and I thought it'd be a good conversation to record and let you guys listen in on it. So Barb, first off, introduce yourself. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Ash. It's a beautiful day here in Seattle.
Yeah, it's cloudy. Go figure. So, how long have you been designing websites?
Yeah, so I've been designing websites for over 7 years now, and yeah, it's been quite a long ride.
What kind of made you start doing that?
So initially, this is funny. So my initial first interest was fashion design, and somehow it led me to magazine editing and obviously, with the mediums that we're working with nowadays, magazines, we're gonna, they're not obsolete or anything, but a lot of marketing and a lot of, designs have transgressed to the medium of web. So I figured that, hey, why not try technology and web and marry the layout aspect of what magazine truly, entice, and just kind of approach it in a different perspective of the digital, in the digital world.
Nice. So, with having a good website, I mean, you've been designing for 7 years. So this isn't your first rodeo building websites.
No.
Why is having a good website so important now?
Yeah, I mean, I feel with businesses nowadays, we're competing in such a large scale. So I feel that, not only is it cost effective to have a website business online, but keep in mind that you can be making money 24 hours, 7 days a week. When you have a store, you have to close that, you have to pay employees and all that. So I feel like having a website nowadays is critical if you want your business to flourish, because, you have a greater opportunity to reach, your clients all over the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so do you use things like Squarespace or Wix to build your websites, or how do you build your websites?
So I went to school for programming, so I don't use Wix or Squarespace.
Yeah.
I like to code my websites from scratch, but to make it easier for clients to manage, or just to make it user friendly for myself, I use WordPress.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not against Squarespace. I'm not against, Wix or anything. But I feel like as of a more experienced developer and designer, I feel that it really restrains me from really doing what it is that I want to do and really make my website unique.
Are there just like things on Wix or Squarespace that you can't do if you just coded it yourself?
I mean, okay, so Wix basically limits your capabilities to create specific, like, let's say, plugins and functions, right? So there's a limitation there. I guess there is a way to have the ability to do that, but you have to pay, right? So it's more of, do you want to pay more money to create something that's getting customized, that's already going to be costing you money, or just use a platform like WordPress where there's open source content out there that you can just, not only save money, but save time.
Right.
Because it's already it's pre-existing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, whenever I kind of look at those things, and I'm not a web designer in the slightest, but, at least when I'm looking at it from a marketing standpoint, is that every one of our clients or every business has their own unique avatar.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like Wix and Squarespace and pretty much all of them seem to have a general theme that everyone has to go inside of. And so at least, I don't know if this is true, but it seemed like to me, whenever you have a website made by Wix or Squarespace, you might not actually be engaging your target avatar or the way they search the web.
Right.
I don't know. So I know you're kind of more the wizard behind it. When you're designing a website, how much do you plan for the customer's behavior?
Yeah. So my main approach to when I, make a website is, the CMS platform is important, but most of all is does the brand exist for this client? You know, and then kind of work my way up from there. And then knowing and having that blueprint planned out, that's how I initially create my user experience from the inside out. You know, if it's an e-commerce website, I need to figure out what kind of products they're selling, who their competitors are, and what their end goals and, you know, things like that are. So, I mean, it can get pretty dynamic, but when it comes to having a cookie cutter kind of a website, you're going to be like the rest of the people. So it's just more of like you're restraining yourself from really flying far and really flying high. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think you just hit something that I mean, most of the time I don't think I even really think about is that how much branding effort has to go into a website. Like it sounds obvious when I say it, like a website needs to have branding, but the website is the brand in and of itself. I mean, do you have any kind of tips or recommendations on what you do to really understand that brand and then build a website from it?
Yeah, so it's mostly coming from where the company is coming from, like they're basically their core, you know, their core vision, and more of like what it is that they're truly wanting to give to their users. You know, are they trying to give information? That way, you know, like Nike, they don't just sell shoes, they sell the brand, because it becomes like a staple to it becomes almost like a lifestyle. So it's like, I'm not just buying into a product, I'm buying into this lifestyle. So that's kind of where I talk to you when a client doesn't have much branding, like what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and how are you trying to connect with your audience, and how do we get there? You know, and then, you know, kind of just build upon. Yeah.
So if I was a company, or if I'm an entrepreneur trying to build my website today, what are 3 things you would recommend me to do first?
Who your target audience is. We need to figure that out, and then what your voice is, right? So like how are you? Okay, not only are you finding your target audience, but how do you talk to them? You know, if you're a lawyer, like, are you trying to talk to them aggressively, or it depends on what departments, you know, like if you're going for like a family oriented kind of business, you have to approach things differently in a different voice and tone, right? So then not only that, but how do you want to present yourself in, you know, when it comes to your quality, right? Do you want to be like a McDonald's that just comes, you know, clients could come in and out and you get what you pay for kind of thing? Or do you want to be that like high end, you know, like Five Guys kind of thing? So it's more of like quality, quantity, and, you know, you're kind of like your voice as well.
Cool. What would be the final tip? So find your audience, find your voice, and then what would be the last thing?
You're basically your identity. Like who are you? You know, like, you have a voice, but it's like, what do you represent? You know, what are your, like, I wouldn't say like your goals, but it's just like, what's your mission? You know, what's your mission? You know, and once you figure that out, it's mostly putting the dots together so that way you execute that mission successfully.
Awesome. I think that's all I had planned for today. Thank you so much, Barb, for coming in and let me steal you for a little bit.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. That's all we have today. I appreciate you guys taking the time just to listen to and chat about web design. Tune in, I guess, for our next emails. And in the future, we're going to be trying to do more trainings and dive a little bit deeper into how your business can take and apply the tips and tricks that we're going to be giving out to you guys in the next couple of weeks. I'm super excited for it. Stay tuned. If you have any suggestions or things you'd like to know about specifically, feel free to shoot us an email. We'll be happy to do that in future trainings. Have a good one, guys. This is Ashton with N2Q Consulting. Peace.